officials for this match. First referee, Jay Deriquito. Second referee, Aikel Tero. The action continues here at the Playtime Philoil Center in San Juan. This is the Shakey Super League 2026 National Invitationals. This is match number 7 of the preliminaries between Pusong Azul and their opponents, St. John's Institute. And now let us meet the starters. First, for Pusong Azul. Beginning with their middle blocker, number 3, Brianna Mendoza. Another middle blocker, number 4, Isabela Espinosa. Number 8, Dre Santiago. Outside hitter number 10, Juliana Peregrino. Setter number 12, Jane Olagir. Outside hitter number 16, Jenica Sadia. Starting libero is number 17, their team captain, Jemisha Lexinti. And the head coach of Pusong Azul, Wata Makalangan. And make some noise for the starters of St. John's Institute. Beginning with their team captain, outside hitter number 23, Keira Celis. Another outside hitter number 2, Cristel Mirasol. Opposite hitter number 7, Cara Feril. Middle blocker number 14, Athena Magbanwa. Setter number 16, Luis Geraldizo. Another middle blocker number 20, Karil Escultura. Starting libero is number 18, Samantha Young. And the head coach of St. John's Institute, Ralph Joren Sabellano.
Starting lineup para sa panig ng Pusong Azul, we are joined by Geraldizo, Escultura, Magbanwa, Mirasol, Celis, Ferrell, and Young. Sa kabilang panig para sa St. John's Institute, Olagir, Mendoza, Espinosa, Peregrino, Sadia, Tai, and T. This is the 2026 Shakey Super League Juniors National Invitationals live at the Playtime Philoil Arena. Daphne Cristobal with Richie Cordero, and two teams coming from different stories. St. John's Institute hoping to maintain their perfect record so far. One of the two teams so far na may perfect record dito sa ating tournament. Meanwhile, Pusong Azul still in search of their first win here in the tournament.
So it's a very interesting matchup because we have one team dominant and one team na gusto bumawi.
This set is brought to you by Shakey Super Delivery. Order your favorite thin crust pizza and chicken and Mojo's now. Set number 1 underway. Sabi nga natin, Richie, parang magiging battle of the blue. Itong ating showdown ngayong hapon.
Perfect reception there for Pusong Azul and another perfect setup for that finish down the line.
For Pusong Azul, they're led by head coach, Coach Wata who's also known for developing grassroots talent sa Shakey Raceles. Agad-agad nagpapakilala dito sa Pusong Azul.
Grabe, first 2 points pa lang, bakbaka na tayo dito with Celis answering back sa palo ni Sadia. So 2 of our players in focus. Grabe, start pa lang, paluan na.
Ito si Shakey Raceles, no? Isa siya sa really naging malaking tulong doon sa naging panalo nila kontra Juan Lasal. So interestingly, no, parang ang ganda lang din ng naging production na knowing that she'll be heading into Taft in her collegiate stint in the upcoming years.
Yeah, but her responsibility to St. John's Institute stays grounded. Pusong Azul now, again to Sadia. Mirasol on the side. Although too much angle there, that will sail out, awarding that point to Pusong Azul.
So Isa Espinosa, one of the players also from the Moscola International School this time, finding her new home in Pusong Azul. That was a deep cross. Better angle here for Crystal Mirasol.
No, better angle, and of course the clip of the wrist. Kanina, it sailed out because she produced a flat attack, but this time she put more wrist action to get that point.
Crystal Mirasol, 16 years old. Also hailing from Negros. Olaguer with that push. Pero may mga ganong veteranong setter talaga, no, Richie? Just really knows where to put the ball.
You know, exactly. You don't need a fast shot. You don't need the most powerful one. You just need the smartest one to get that point. And Olaguer really showing us mastery in that.
Jen is one of the versatile players I know. Also plays not just as a playmaker, but also as an open hitter. Kaya all around to eh. Matatakot kapag siya nasa harap, you wouldn't know if she would set or spike the leather.
That's the kind of strategy that really puts an advantage on your team, because it really shows the variety you can do in the movements and the strategies inside the court. But Pusong Azul with another attack, dug up by St. John's Institute. Buhay pa dito ang bola. A bit short there.
Peregrino trying to slam the leather from the open. Handcheck granted. Kira was pretty much confident there was a handcheck.
Very slight touch there from the back row attack of Celis, but with all that power, she knows how to direct that ball properly to the blocker's hands. That's her second point in today's match. Good service there for Ferrell. Her second point of the game and the first ace from her team, St. John's Institute.
This serve of the game is brought to you by Shakey's. Order your favorite thin crust pizza and chicken and Mojo snack.
Continues to serve.
Ferrell with that massive service earlier. Finally, an answer by Juliana Peregrino.
Juliana Peregrino, another girl who we should really look out for in today's match. That is her first point, but she's just warming up. We're yet to see more from her. Very close matchup here. Score is tied to 5 for both our teams. And a service error for Pusong Azul. That is also their first service error.
So far, we can say para sa Pusong Azul, mga services nila, no, that has been hurting them early here in set number 1. But upon talking to Coach Bata earlier, sabi ko nga sa inyo, kilala na to sa pag-develop ng players. Isa na dito sa mga naging products niya itong si Olaguer. So right now, na nagsasama sila sa Pusong Azul, around 3 to 4 months pa lang si Coach Wata for Pusong Azul. But this time, we see Juliana Peregrino, yeah, carrying the load for her team.
You know, actually her spikes aren't as strong, but her placements are on point. They more often than not find its way to the floor or to that line. second service error here for Pusong Azul. Another free point for St. John's, and that's not something you want to give them because every error that you give St. John's Institute, they will capitalize on it as much as possible, especially if you give it as early here in the first set.
So for just an exchange of points, pero 6-7 ang ating score. There was a chase, an opportunity here for SJI. Sa gitna, ihahatid. Ganda ng salba. But
Combination play confused the blockers of Pusong Azul here.
in a touch violation was
Yes.
called against Pusong Azul. So SJI on top, 8-6.
Lapit mga katropa, may mga biyayang darating. Ikaw, hindi ka makapili ng platform, pero mahahanap mo naman ang For You. Iba-ibang saya, iba-ibang biyaya. Ikaw, meron ding For You po.
New Smart Power All. Choose your Unli and your 5 gig app bundle so you can binge, game, or share it all. Plus 10 gig for all apps and 4 gig of 5G data. Power your next side quest with Smart Power All.
Back in action here for our match number 3 this Monday. Again, this week's gonna be filled with a lot of youth volleyball in the Shakey Super League Juniors National Invitationals. So we would love to see you here. Sana po makanood kayo dito at matuklasan natin itong ating talents ng mga youngsters in the high school division.
Very strong of a serve there for St. John's Institute. That will be their second service error. So we're still seeing those free points given from both of our teams. 2 service errors for St. John's and Pusong Azul. Better reception here for St. John's. Too wide set there for Celis, giving that opportunity for the blockers of Pusong Azul to really position themselves in front of her, giving her no chance for that monster block.
Solid denial coming from Espinosa against Celis.
First block point of the game as well. And another service error for Pusong Azul.
Lot of service errors.
You get that they're kind of warming up, but you do not want to continue this kind of error.
Meanwhile, St. John's Institute just really maximizing sa mga mistakes.
Perfect receive there.
Ganda nung hatid ng bola para kay Espinosa. Tipik Celis using her left hand. Nice tap.
What an outstanding player itong si Kara Celis. Well, of course, we've known her to be such a powerful spiker, but this time also a very brilliant one, using her left hand to actually spike that ball. So medyo nalito din yung defenders ng Pusong Azul.
Tataka ko ngayon. Last Shakey's Gville, marami yung clip ni Kara. Sinasabi ko sa kanya kung is that a ritual? Before parang oo eh. She was telling me na pati yung coordination ng colors ng clips that needs to be that way. Parang I think parang tig 3 in each side.
Yes.
Pero ngayon, umonti na eh. That Smart Power Up Play was brought to you by the new Smart Power All 109. Load now.
It's really nice to know these things about the players. It becomes more personal to them, not only to them, but also to us, seeing that she has so many intentional things that goes in her routine to play how she really plays now.
It's time to go to the open.
This time that's Beryl for her third attack point. Kanina, we saw her from the open side of the court, pero ngayon, opposite naman. So anywhere she's really set up, she's really known to produce a point even from the hands of the blockers.
Kara and Kara stepping up for St. John's Institute. Sila ang abante dito.
Kailan ba kayo susunod? Mataas naman yung bola, kaya naman paluin eh. Naantay mo sa baba, pa ino-over mo. Girls!
That huddle was powered by Smart Power All 109. Load now.
Lots of emotion coming there from the timeout of Coach Wata, and I guess with some systems or with some programs in volleyball, sometimes yung emotions ng coach, that's already an instruction for the players. Alam na nila yon. Sometimes na pagkilala mo na talaga yung coach mo, isang sabi lang nila, alam na nila gagawin nila. But of course, St. John's Institute challenging the reception of Pusong Azul.
Another loaded service delivered here. Kargado at intentional yung mga services. Still in. Hot beginning here for Gaira Celis.
You know, even though the set was wide, she was still able to get that angle, and it's because of her elevation and her hang time that she has enough time to decide where to place that ball.
In the recent 2026 SSL Gville Rising Stars Cup, her average was at 18.5 points per match. A lot of accomplishments for SJI. And now, clearly seen the scramble offense and defense para sa panig ng Pusong Azul.
Really, St. John's having that momentum in the first set. And I think Pusong Azul is struggling to get out of this kind of momentum that they're creating, especially because Celis, their main gunner, one of their main gunners rather, is in front. That is the third service error for St. John's Institute as well.
Of course, for St. John's Institute, they're led by Coach RJ Savillano, who also played in his younger years. Hindi ako nagkakamali. Parang nagturo din siya as a coach in Livingstone's International School. And they continue to be in the driver's seat here in set number 1, 69.
New Smart Power All. Choose your Unli and your 5 gig app bundle so you can binge, game, or share it all. Plus 10 gig for all apps and 4 gig of 5G data. Power your next side quest with Smart Power All.
Lapit mga katropa, may mga biyayang darating. Ikaw, hindi ka makapili ng platform, pero mahahanap mo naman ang For You. Iba-ibang saya, iba-ibang biyaya. Ikaw, meron ding For You po.
The dominating run here in set number 1 para sa panig ng St. John's Institute, led by their main gunner, Gaira Celis. But she has been getting some help from her teammates. And that's probably
Ferrell.
Yeah, that's probably one of the advantages that they have so far. Not just relying on a single player, kaya ngayon they have this liberty na pagpahingahin muna itong si Gaira. And so, papasok muna. Yeah, ito si Yanson for the first time.
So we see a lot of pressure coming from the outside or coming from the bench, and being able to serve and continue the momentum that St. John's Institute has been creating. Olagir to the back. Sadia with a cross-court hit. Blocker for her there.
They need more of that.
Yes.
Para sa Pusong Azul, they've been struggling in terms of their reception. Pero ang maganda dito, may mga bright spots eh. They know that they could attack.
Yes.
It's just that yung first ball muna, kailangan talaga nilang ma-secure para makapag-set up din itong si Olagir. So, multiple talents from Pusong Azul, mga naging parte ng Alas Pilipinas Under-16. So, in terms of experiences, marami na rin, despite being young. Extra push from Crystal. And from the open, Sadia makes the pay.
That is her third point already, and it's nice because now that they need to actually catch up in their score, rather, Sadia, their main gunner, or their player in focus, has been performing really well, and I think we need to see more of her to create that spark plug na sa kanila naman yung momentum pumunta.
So, Aubrey Tay coming off the bench. Sa gitna, ihinatid ang bola.
That is Escaltura. Perfect volleyball there. You know, as soon as you get a perfect reception, your setter will give you the confidence to make those kinds of attacks na nakaibabaw sa hands talaga ng blocker. And that's because her reach is also very high, as well as her elevation, giving her that advantage. Buhay pa dito ang bola.
Great
So,
effort to save that leather. Back set. They go to the open. Picked up by Jane.
lower set there, but good placement.
Cristel. Coverage present para sa SJI. Buhay ang bola sa gitna.
Great floor defense here displayed by both teams.
Crystal with a push. Sadia. Crystal crossing the line.
Point will be awarded to Pusong Azul for that error. So it was good effort coming from both of our teams. Score is getting closer, 12-17 of SJI.
Geraldizo. Beautiful back set. Underhand naman para sa Pusong Azul. Some rare times na may nakikita tayong atake from the back row.
Outstanding floor defense itong Pusong Azul. Just getting everything. So far, so much effort. Really, hands down to them.
A lot of miscommunications for Pusong Azul, but this time, sort of jinx it. It's SJI. Had some miscoordination in that setup.
You know, as much as possible, you want to stay composed and really communicate with one another, and really it's a familiarization with each other's movements, especially when there's a rally. You don't know what play to give anymore, so that's why the communication should be very constant with your setter as the playmaker.
This is just a 4-point game, mind you, in the opening set. So, nabubuhayan din ang loob itong panig ng Pusong Azul.
I think it also started when they saw Caracelis rest up sa bench, giving them a little bit of confidence.
Natawid ang bola. Chance here for SJI to set up a play. Ferrer now the main playmaker here in the opening set. High leather picked up easily by Ferrer. Cristel, ando naman si Jane. Luna from the back, may atake, puntos yan para kay Sadia.
Sadia with her fourth attack point. You know, we saw her kanina very dominant pagkadating sa front line, but this time even at the back, she knows how to place her balls properly, even given that St. John's Institute has been reading the attacks of Pusong Azul.
Down to a 3-point game, which forces Coach JR to call for a quick time.
Let's up na tayo. Let's up na tayo. Okay, listen. Hindi tayo nakakapatay. Bakit? Hindi nabibigyan yung middle. Saka ayaw mo paluin yung bola eh. No? Drop mo lang eh. Nakadrop ka, nasa tao naman eh. Paluin mo yung bola. Okay? O, one good stop, one good receive. One good set, one good palo. Nakuha.
That huddle was powered by Smart Power All 109. Load now.
Coach JR just sharing some observations of what the team has been doing, and that's more of dropping the ball and really placing it. Pero doon naman sa tao nagda-drop. So he really just wants more variation when it comes to attacking and making sure that they aim for spots inside the court where there are no people guarding it.
And I think the challenge din dito sa St. John Institute, no, kung paano din sila sasagot sa run na pinapakita ng Pusong Azul without Akira Celis inside the court playing.
You know, as much as possible, you want to train your players to adjust to whoever is inside, and that really shows the system and the solidity of your program, of your volleyball program.
Now it's Ferrell who earned that point from the right pin. And so far, no, nakikita din natin yung adjustments in terms of defense para sa
Yes.
Pusong Azul.
Good first ball here, pero wala sa setter's box si Olaguer. Mirasol.
Miscalculated
power.
that hit. Talking about Cristel Mirasol trying to target that end line, but unfortunately, too much muscle in that hit. Just a 3-point game. Still also in search of their offensive showing. Itong panig ng SJI. Mirasol denied at the net.
That was perfect blocking coming from Mendoza of Pusong Azul. You know, Mirasol is known to be someone who really places her balls when it's an out-of-system play or a wider set just like that. And Mendoza saw her vision and positioned herself to gain that point.
For a team who has been together for quite some time, itong SJI, ganda ng pinapakita ng Pusong Azul dahil dalawa na lang hinahabol nila. A chance to make this a 1-point game. Olaguer biglang pumapalo yung setter dito. Mirasol pounding the leather. Jane goes to the open. One-hand save. There was a chase. Back row hit. Leather did not go over, and this is just a 1-point deficit.
Imagine, they were able to pull away already SJI, but Pusong Azul just really giving full effort here. And now they're just 1 point away from being tied up with St. John's Institute. And we see a substitution here. Carousel is back inside the court to lead her team.
Look who's back. It's the main gunner of Coach RJ, Keira Celis. Ferrer continues to set up. And welcome right away. She's like, I'm back. We felt that.
You know, as expected, Coach JR will push in players who he knows and who he trusts to perform and give an impact right away. And Caracelis is a name that, of course, as we all know, will perform as much as possible. Mirasol first with another service error. That's the 4th one for St. John's Institute.
But imagine Richie, the panic ng Pusong Azul has been trying to gel with one another for around 3 to 4 months. Or probably less than that. So really a lot of things that would still happen that they should experience as a team. Pero malaking bagay na against a solid team like SJI, isang puntos lang talaga hinahabol nila. And make that now deadlock at 19.
Exactly. I think it really builds character to be going against really strong contenders such as a well-developed St. John's Institute at Pusong Azul, given that they had such a short time to really bond together and to get to know each other and to be familiar inside the court. They're performing such a great game here. In just the first set, it's already tied 19 to 19.
Now Ahon is inserted in for the first time. Some variety of playmaking strategies ang hinahanap ni Coach Motox. But it's Pamplona rather who'll be earning that point.
Such a smart drop ball, seeing that medyo nakabukas na rin yung down the line and nobody was guarding there.
Pero grabe rin yung hinabol dito. Ang Pusong Azul, not the best reception though, coming from Quijano. Miss hit from the open by Peregrino, a costly one.
As much as possible, you know the intensity already, given that naghahabulan dito ng score. You don't want to give any free points to your opponent.
Just a 2-point game. struggle in that reception once again. Itong Pusong Azul, they've been giving a couple of opportunities for execution for SJI. Back set, miscommunication, puntos.
Combination play here for St. John's Institute. A back quick attack there for her team. And it actually hit the blocker's hands, making it harder to estimate where that ball was going to land.
Okay, kaya pa yan, kaya pa, kaya pa, kaya pa. Sige. Go.
That huddle was powered by Smart Power All 109. Load now.
And Coach Wata just really trying to break the momentum that St. John's Institute created in that previous sequence.
Especially that they were able to tie things up at 19, but from that 19-point mark, 3 consecutive points was handed by SJI. Olagier, 1-2 play. Sinalba niya ang bola. Quijano, pinapalo. Itong si Jane. Nice pick up. Celis with so much power, but Quijano with that superb dig though. He asked for a hand check, that will be granted.
That's why it's so important for a first referee to really be sharp when it comes to checking those check balls. So that point will be awarded to Pusong Azul.
Chelsea Peregrino from St. Teresa's College of Quezon City now finding her new home in Pusong Azul, but sort of jinx it. After niyang pumalo, napasobra naman ang service niya doon.
To serve for St. John's Institute, Martina Ferrer.
So Ferrer was inserted in here midway the opening set. So far, she has been connecting pretty well for SJI and right on cue, delivering an ace for Coach RJ.
And to seal things off, another service ace. What an impact player is Ferrer for St. John's Institute. Perfect placement there. And what a serve to just seal off this set.
Back-to-back service aces handed by Ferrer, 25-20 in set number 1.
Lapit mga katropa, may mga biyayang darating. Ikaw, hindi ka makapili ng platform, pero mahahanap mo naman ang For You. Iba-ibang saya, iba-ibang biyaya. Ikaw, meron ding For You po.
New Smart Power All. Choose your Unli and your 5 gig app bundle so you can binge, game, or share it all. Plus 10 gig for all apps and 4 gig of 5G data. Power your next side quest with Smart Power All.
25-20 in our opening set. St. John's Institute make sure to show assertiveness in the opening set. A bit of scare or threat na ipinakita ng Pusong Azul, especially that we were suddenly deadlocked at 19, pero itong SJI, nung ibinalik itong si Celis all the way, they made sure to snatch set number 1.
You know, the confidence was there for both of our teams, but Celis really remains to be someone to look out for. But, you know, we also had a number coming from Ferrell Escaltura and Geraldizo, also the 2 service aces of Ferrer that really set things apart. We had 14 attack points for St. John's Institute, while 8 for Pusong Azul, but what really set them apart was the service aces that St. John's Institute gave, which was 4 points, and 10 opponent errors for St. John's and 7 for Pusong Azul.
This set is brought to you by Shakey Super Delivery. Order your favorite thin crust pizza and chicken and mochos now. Set number 2 underway, still live in the Playtime Phil Oil Arena here in San Juan. Malamig dito sa ating venue. We hope that you can also join us in supporting our young talents in the 2026 SSL Juniors and National Invitationals. So itong July, puro National Invitationals tayo. This is the first time, Richie, na meron tayong juniors, and then next week, we will move forward sa ating sa ating mga college teams.
You know, it's nice because even though they're in the juniors division, we also have international schools. So it's really such a global stage where we see exposure coming from different systems all around the world. So it's such a nice vision to see that Philippine volleyball is continuously evolving in today's Shakey's National Invitationals.
These are rising stars, elite talent, global stage. So we have 7 teams here in the juniors division. We are joined by some international guest teams from Guam, from USA. Really a great experience. Not just for our local teams, no, but even from our international guest teams, for them to have a taste, to have a feel kung paano ba maglaro ang mga youth players in the volleyball world dito sa Pilipinas. After the 2 consecutive points by SJI, ganun din ang sagot ng Pusong Azul.
This time, another attack error for St. John's Institute, awarding that point to Pusong Azul. Score is now 3-2.
A reverse of sequence here in set number 2. And I must say, itong larong to could also be a test of consistency para sa SJI, especially na usually ganun yung nakikita natin sa kanila. Strong start, just like what happened in the first game, but then
The second
pag
set,
second set, no, dun sila medyo nagiging shaky.
I think it also becomes, it also shows how they can be sometimes complacent, that they won the first set, so okay na. So they need to stabilize that kind of mentality. Exactly, as I was saying, Celis leading that attacking gunner for St. John's Institute. That's exactly what we want. We want consistency in domination.
That swing though, yung buwelo, ginagaya ni
tama na.
Idol Norman dito eh. Parang papaluin din nato ako.
Umilag ka na dyan, Daphne. Back-to-back points for Celis. This time with an ace, their first one for the second set.
We're tackling about her swing, her arms, her
power,
reach, pero
her everything.
mukhang laking bagay na magkapit-bahay sila ni Angel kanino.
Ayun na nga.
Another strong service. Jane with that push. They go to the open this time, picked up by Quijano. Niling setup by Olaguer. Kanino ihahatid ang bola. They go to the open.
That's Ferrell on the opposite side of the court. Another cross-court attack coming from her. You know, she had 5 points in the first set. Actually, she was second to Celis with the most points in her basket. And this time, she remains consistent. And again, consistency is what we are looking for here in St. John's Institute. And who better to look from it than their main gunners, which is Celis and Feral, but I think we will attest that call.
Yeah.
Celis knows, so we'll see what the call will be.
Yeah, it actually sort of dropped in my angle, in our angle, from the corner eh, na parang andun ang bola.
So I think they will stick with the line judge's decision to call that out.
So tabla tayo at 5-all.
Substitution for Pusong Azul, Mendoza out, and Ahon in to serve.
Two playmakers here inside for Pusong Azul. Ball tap. Jane to Sadia. Miss hit.
I saw the intention of Sadia, seeing that she had blockers in front of her. She wanted to actually cut that ball to the side and clip it. Pero medyo wide din yung set. That's why it was a bit difficult for her to get it.
Denise back at their usuals. Starting from those loaded services to have a difficult time for Pusong Azul to set up.
Exactly. You know, this is their service aces. They had 4 in the first set and now 2 in the second set. This was the volleyball department that they actually showed a lot of mastery that allowed them to win against Juan Lasal from their previous game, and they're really capitalizing on it now. Although attack error there coming from Celis from the back row.
So another 6-7. Score here even in set number 2. Just a 1-point game.
Easier tap there from Feral on the opposite side of the court, given that it was a bit wide, but still ended up as a point. Technical timeout, 6-8 in favor of St. John's Institute.
Lapit mga katropa, may mga biyayang darating. Ikaw, hindi ka makapili ng platform, pero mahahanap mo naman ang For You. Iba-ibang saya, iba-ibang biyaya. Ikaw, meron ding For You po.
New Smart Power All. Choose your Unli and your 5 gig app bundle so you can binge, game, or share it all. Plus 10 gig for all apps and 4 gig of 5G data. Power your next side quest with Smart Power All.
Welcome back to the second set of this game between Pusong Azul going up against St. John's Institute. Just a 2-point game. Pusong Azul still looking forward to tie things up or even take over the momentum here in set number 2. Lucky
Service
one.
ace there
Yeah.
for Feral. Back-to-back points from an attack and now a service ace. Pero nagsorry pa rin siya kay Coach JR. Alam niyang swinerte lang yata siya sa service.
Yeah, usually no.
The
Pag
net
may
is...
awa sa net.
Ay, nako. The net is either your best friend or your worst enemy when it comes to volleyball.
What about this? 3 consecutive points, all coming from Cara Feral.
Galing. She's now the leading scorer for St. John's Institute with 9 points on her name. So Celis has 8 now and Feral has 9.
Tai is back inside para sa Pusong Azul. They're still in search of some game changers here. And they connect with Espinosa, hitting that net line.
Espinosa finding that open spot on the side of St. John's Institute. Medyo nagulat din dun si Celis knowing that she's supposed to be guarding that long shot.
The first time I saw itong si Lisa Espinosa was not here in Shakey's, but rather on TikTok. I saw her creating some get ready with me videos during the Shakey's G-Bill.
Yes, and you see how they have so many interests and things going on outside the court, and it just shows that volleyball is not their whole life, diba? So it's nice to see that side of them also, not just as a player, but also as content creators and just sharing their lives.
Great read from that service. A sense of relief, actually. Medyo nagduda pa. Itong si Yanson. As what we reiterated also, Richie, in the past game, and even in the opening set na sobrang halaga ng bawat laro dito dahil short tournament lang, yung top 4 teams, dahil meron tayong total of 7 teams here in the juniors division. Yung top 4, immediately yun na yung magsa-semifinals. Pero mukhang gusto ng perfect record dito sa tournament ni Kay Raceles.
Again, her form is just very commendable. You see her really pulling back her arm and her shoulder to put as much force in her attacks.
Standing 5'9" tall. Itong si Kay Raceles. Multiple MVP awards under St. John's Institute. They're up here, 13-7. Celes, top of the blockers. Peregrino. Celis ulit, papalo.
Grabe, kahit ma-block siya, she knows how to clip her hand, actually her wrist, to make sure that she still gets a point. You see her having 2 blockers in front of her, and walang tatablas sa power niya ngayon.
Lista mo na, 10 puntos para kay Kay Raceles after helping her team out in their first win last game. They look forward to get their second in today's game.
Leading scorer once again, ito si Celes, make that 11 points.
Richie, you talked about wrist action this time around. That's blockings for Kay Raceles.
See that once again, nakaposisyon na siya and her elevation really puts such a challenge for her attackers to get through.
Aray ko. Outside. Ano sabi ko lang sa'yo, wag i-outside, in-outside nga. Go, go, tara! Medyo aggressive pa, Bella. Pagin mo na malakas!
That huddle was powered by Smart Power All 109 Lowdown.
Few words from Coach Wata, but I think that it was also just a time for them to regroup themselves and to really establish what they want to happen in today's match, especially because St. John's Institute is becoming more consistent in dominating with their attacks. Of course, led by Caracelis.
Abante na po ng 8 puntos and make that a 9-point lead para sa St. John's Institute.
That is Yanson with a service ace. That is their 3rd service ace already for the second set.
Still serving AD Yanson.
Yanson, one of the holdovers here for St. John's Institute, pero ngayon napasobra na ang service doon. But your thoughts, Richie, here in the second set where Pusong Azul tried to also dictate the second set, pero itong SJI, we talked about consistency at mukhang yun ang gusto nila ipakita this time around.
You know, I think what you were saying that they needed to improve on, they've done it already in the second set. So we don't want a repeat of the first set where nakahabol itong Pusong Azul. Back row attack for St. John's Institute.
Want to play. Great save, may talo, pero nasobrahan ng higit itong si Celis this time.
You know, Pusong Azul actually started out this set pretty confident na maganda yung kinalabasan din ng first set, that they were actually very neck to neck when it comes to their skill level and their performance. So I think we're also looking for yung giggle factor. Medyo relax sila ngayon. And I get that it's composure, but they also need to have that aggressiveness to match the aggressiveness of, again, Caracelis.
Also gotta give credit to Gerald Dizo activating Celis once again para makabawi dun sa puntos na yon. 8 puntos, 16 to 10 rather, is our score.
New Smart Power All. Choose your Unli and your 5 gig app bundle so you can binge, game, or share it all. Plus 10 gig for all apps and 4 gig of 5G data. Power your next side quest with Smart Power All.
Lapit mga katropa, may mga biyayang darating. Ikaw, hindi ka makapili ng platform, pero mahahanap mo naman ang For You. Iba-ibang saya, iba-ibang biyaya. Ikaw, meron ding For You po.
Seeing what happened in that last sequence, Keira Celis at elevation. That massive hit to extend this into a 6-point advantage for SJI. Keira Celis so far with 12 big points on this ball game. Nabati natin. Again,
12 points, 10 attack points, 1 ace and 1 block. So already in 3 different volleyball departments.
Short serve.
She was very amazed with herself too. That is Gerald Dizo with that 1-2 play right behind her. What a beautiful execution of a drop. The
Ano
celebration.
combination, Reggie, nitong mga playmakers ni Coach RJ, no? Gerald Dizo and even Ferrer. Prior to that second technical timeout, we highlighted how she activated Celis once again. Ngayon naman, scoring her own point.
Exactly, and I think she's doing a great job orchestrating her spikers. You see her spikers Escaltura, Ferrell, and Mirasol and Celis all being activated right on cue.
13
Once again.
points for Keira Celis. That sudden switch to go for that drop ball, challenging the defenders of Pusong Azul. High volleyball IQ for Keira Celis. It's 18 to 11. Sadia, they need to take it 1 point at a time.
If you want to break the momentum St. John's Institute has been creating, Sadia is known to be the person to look out for in the first set and now in the second set too.
That Smart Powered Up play was brought to you by the new Smart Power All 109. Load now.
You just need to give our Pusong Azul spikers a chance to really show what they're capable of, but they need that first ball first, and it's been very difficult for them to give that first ball rather to their setter. But then again, Caracelis with an off set already, a wide one, still able to adjust and angle herself to get that point.
Keira Celis with 14 points, surpassing her 13-point production last game. Sadia sending a rainbow.
Good effort here for Pusong Azul, but this time Escaltura remains dominant in that set. Let's see that once again, combination play as the open spiker goes in the middle, but you see a V-quick attack coming from Escaltura.
And number 8, Adriana Escultura.
7-point gap, pero 6 puntos na lang ang kinakailangan ng St. John's Institute para makuha ang kanilang ikalawang panalo.
What a
Sa ating
serve!
tournament. Make that 15 big points.
4 service aces from St. John's Institute and Caracelis rather has 2 of them already in just this set.
Shuffle of players para kay Coach Wata. Sa panig ng Pusong Azul, 8-point game.
Now you'd think it would be an advantage for Pusong Azul that Celis is at the back row already, but her serves have been such a great challenge for them.
Reverse setup. And some game changers.
You have to love
Coming
the
off the bench.
celebration. That is Escaltura for that attack.
This is now a 9-point lead para sa panig ng SJI.
Kaya mag-usap-usap kayo. Open.
That huddle is powered by Smart Power All 109. Load now.
You know, in some situations, Coach JR called that timeout not for him actually to give the instructions, but to actually give the opportunity to the girls to lead themselves and talk amongst one another, to create a strategy on what they're going to do or what they're going to adjust to now that St. John's Institute is at 21-12 of Pusong Azul.
Let's see how they will try to answer from that timeout called by Coach Wata. How do you stop this?
That is her
16th point already.
exactly. And her 3rd service ace already for set number 2.
She just reached her age in her production in today's ball game. 16 points for the 16-year-old Kira Celis. Over-received and isa pang tsansa para sa SJI. Ganda ng dig ni Luna. Sadia with a deep cross.
And Sadia killing that momentum for her team. That's already her 6th point in today's match also. So I think Pusong Azul may need to go to their main gunners and their percentage spikers, especially in a game where they're trying to catch up to the score.
Nice reception. They go to the open, but that was low of a set and low of a hit.
Too wide of a set there for St. John's Institute to get that over the net. 3-point there for Pusong Azul.
This is just our 3rd game today. Meron pa tayong 2 laro. So you could still catch all the games live on pusubi.com. Also, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube.
Another 3-point here for Pusong Azul.
Kanina nung first set, reach yung midway, doon din nakahabol yung Pusong Azul dun sa mga errors.
Exactly.
And
They got so
SJI.
much confidence from those 3 points and errors. And again, an attack error there. Or rather, a monster block coming from the Thai.
Perfectly read. Nice net defense para sa Pusong Azul. Timeout muna para sa SJI.
Kailangan patayin. Humingi ka ng bola. O nagkamali ka ng 2, babuyan mo. Babuyan mo. No? O, gandaan natin yung receive natin para makapalo sila. Okay? Now, pag nakapalo naman to, huwag kumpiyansa, napapatayin niyo yung bola. Kailangan may coverage din. Naintindihan? O, isang magandang receive para makapalo yung kasama natin. Let's go!
That huddle was powered by Smart Power All 109. Load now.
Kailangan natin bawian. Kailangan humingi ng bola. That is what Coach JR told his girls, to be more aggressive and asking for the balls and asking for opportunities, because you know what, our setter has been given them the opportunities and really orchestrating the attacks of St. John's. They just need to ask for it and recompose themselves.
Natawid Tawid ang bola. 5 na puntos ang hinahabol ng Pusong Azul.
Better set up there.
Another block point here for Pusong Azul.
This time it was in favor of Pusong Azul. That's Sadia for that monster block.
4 consecutive points handed by Pusong Azul. Hanging on tight here in set number 2. They've been trying to target also Celis here. Freebie for the youngsters in white. Jump set. Sadia. That won't work. And they challenge the defense of Volunteers. But this time at point 2.
Escaltura on her 4th point, this time on the opposite side of the court for a cross-court attack. It was a little high, but good thing that it would still land on that line, giving that point to St. John's.
Now at a match point opportunity, 24-17. Itong SJI. Coverage present in that sequence. Celis setting it up. Hindi nagustuhan. Chance ulit para sa mga nakaputi. Sadia pounding it through. Won't work.
Good floor coverage here for both teams.
Saving the day. Running attack. Luna was there for that pickup. They go back to Sadia with that drop. Won't work. Celis. When to be open, that's going to be a point.
Ending such a long rally, you don't need the most powerful spikes, you just need the most effective one, and that's why it was just a drop ball.
Pretty long one to get that finish for SJI, but regardless, that's going to be a conversion and a help for Lexi Chu para makuha ang kanilang ikalawang panalo dito sa ating SSL Juniors National Invitationals. Learning from what happened in their last game, making sure that they'll be more consistent this time around. It's St. John's Institute will be winning over itong Pusong Azul in straight sets. Congratulations once again for SJI, led by their main gunner, Kira Celis, who delivered 16 points in today's game. Final score, it's 25-20, 25-17.